Good morning, and it's the crypto day morning. Today's date, Saturday, 27th of October, 2018. I'd like to welcome you to the Money Charts channel, and Bitcoin is most certainly hanging in there. This is wild. 12 days of this. And today's session is an inside day right now, meaning lower volatility to what it's been having. Yeah. It's been like 1% a day across the board for the last few days as price action has stayed and remained within this 18 average. Today's session has a low of $6,397.13. So we'll just say $63.97 and a high of $64.20. Differential 23 basis points, almost 23 basis points, a little under that even. That's under 0.4% volatility thus far. I would like to say that I'm speechless, but that means I would conclude the rest of the video without saying anything on a technical level. But interesting to say the least. On the 12-hour time frame, it's just crunched in within this 18 average. The 18 average of high 64.30, the 18 average of lows 63.84. Almost 1% again, just in that little tight consolidation. And this has been a long sideways move. And the overall pattern of matching lows, which is in around the 66,000 level, even 61, 62, and even down to 5,800 and change, has managed to be tremendous support every single time it has been down there. And it has yet to have made a higher high. And the last high now is 67.56. So technically, because of its low volatility, it could still go up to 6,600 or so. 60, and then make it maybe another lower high. But it's been a long consolidation pattern. But if you want to talk about long, sometimes you can think something has been long and it just goes longer. Case in point, Game 3 of the World Series, which just completed a few hours ago, as that game lasted 7 hours and 20 minutes to play 18 innings in a 3-2 ball game. And I would have figured if the game was 3-2 in 18 innings, the game should last about 5 hours, 4 hours and 45 minutes even, because man, when you have 9-hour pitching duel games, that's not much. It's not usually more than 2.5 hours. But throwing the baseball part aside, that's just a case in point that sometimes things can keep going longer and longer than one may expect. So then, there's really not much more to go over on this. This is going to break support or resistance at some point, but until then, it's just going to be more of the same low volatility. Now, what I've been mentioning is I'm going to talk about the trades that I'm going to make for about like a week or so, not counting ones on Cryptopia. And since yesterday's crypto day morning, I've only traded on Cryptopia, mainly buying and selling XBY, that of Extra Bytes, and it is, and as I've been able to both buy below 500 and sell above such the number. So what I'm going to do is just go over a few codes and just talk about the strategies that I am doing and where my buy order and sell orders happen to be. So the first one is the basic codes against Bitcoin. And this one is represented by the X number, meaning all trades in which that I make will make it so that after the trade is done, the value of my altcoin is always worth X. So then, when I put a buy order in, I will calculate how many coins are needed to be worth that number. And then I subtract that number from what I own, and that's what I place for my buy order. For the sell order, I will again calculate at that particular price point how many is required for me to have to be worth that amount. And then I subtract the difference again, and that's what I sell at those key points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put lines in to indicate where my next buy and sell orders happen to be. And the buy would come in at about the 600 handle. The sell at about the 797. I bought last at 700. Now, most likely, if it comes down to here, I'm the type of trader where, oh, it's at I see it falling, say, to 618 and 620. So if I'm looking at such, I might be like, heck, I'll just buy. And same thing even on the sale where, oh, it's up to 772. Yeah, close enough. I'll just take a sale. That is kind of common with me, but if you don't look, I mean, for what it's worth, I enjoy this type of strategy because as this keeps coming through, to me, it's almost just like a small, like a game where I slowly will continuously increase the amount of Bitcoin that I own by doing such. Okay, so that's the basic Bitcoin one. There's several other ones. I'm not going to go over them today. Obviously, throughout the week, as they get traded, I will. Coins that I trade against Binance, at least the basic ones again, the ones that I put the lowest amount on or a minimum bet. And I'm going to put Nano up as one of them. And I haven't traded this in a long time, and you can kind of see why. The last place in which I traded this would have been down here at 19 and a quarter. About 16 days ago. So as far as where I'm selling and buying next on Nano, I'm either going to be buying at the previous low of 1763, or I'm going to be selling at 2390, which it came close to, but still not quite, on the October 19th session. If I were to get a buy filled next, that means I would be looking to sell this for noticeably greater than a 20 or 10% gain rather. And $1.70 or 170 basis point is 10%, which would then make it like 19.3. So I would probably sell this one in the 20s, like around this congestion area, around 2050, 2060. And I would look to sell about 10% of what I own. It's it's an interesting strategy that I like because the way I figure it, if I'm selling 10% of what I own every time it has a noticeable amount of a gain greater than that of 10%, then as prices continue to increase to higher levels, then the value of my coins will be worth very nice, where I can just make a nice quick sale at any time and then just make an additional trade that way. So that's something that I'm looking for as well. Now on a sell situation, if I were to sell at 23.9, then I would probably look to buy it back in this congestion area, probably at about 2050. That would be a differential of about 15%. And what I would do is buy more than what I sold, but not much more. After all, it's only going to be about a 15-16% decline on that, or even 20% decline, depending on, we'll say almost 20% decline. So you can only buy so much more. But I also want to keep a small amount of Binance coin. So what I do is I will put in a buy order number, and I'll just type in how many BNB that I sold it for and put that in the bottom bar, and it will tell me how many I can buy. So say I sold 10 of a particular item, it might tell me I can buy maybe 12.1, and I'll pick like 11.5 or 11.25. That's usually how I play that game. And then just keep on moving orders from there. Next up is Litecoin crossed against Bitcoin, and within such here, it's got a very bearish type of pattern as it's been resisting these lower highs and these matching lows, descending triangle amongst what has already been in that of a downtrend. And since this bottom rally in here, it's pretty much given back all of its play. So everything that I've sold in here, I've been buying recently. So as far as my last trade and where they will be from here, My last buy was 816 handle on October 21st, I think, or somewhere down there. So therefore, my next two orders, both on the buy and the sell. And the buy order is coming soon, 800, and then just a small numbers after that, with the sell a little over 884. Now, if you look at this more closely, I can see that on the date of October 22nd, that the Bittrex low was 800-201, which technically is lower than where my buy order of 800-450 is, and it's been in there for many, many a days. But that's because I'm not trading this at cross against on the Bittrex. I'm doing it against Poloniex, so on that day it just didn't hit for me. And I'm at the point within this where if I were to look at, say, my next, let me just go like this and just place a few more orders in. And there's a lot more orders that I have that are not shown, going lower than the 760 and change and going higher than the 987. But this also represents the space from this high to this low as the differential of the buying and selling or volatility. Because if I'm going to buy at 802, I'm just going to stick a sell order in at around, well, the lowest number is 884, so we'll probably go about 870 something. And then if I sell at 884, let's try to get that back at about 816 maybe. That's the basics to how I'm doing it anyway. So if I buy at 800, yeah, let's just go up to, like, say somewhere in here, put a sell order. And because I got so many Litecoin, it makes it easy to try to say, you know what, yeah, let's put it in for low percentage moves. And then in situations, if the price goes back to big levels, then I'll execute large sellers, because I do have Litecoin available in my hardware wallet as well, of course, on Poloniex and Binance to trade against other coins. And Litecoin, I'm also trading against Binance Coin and against Ethereum. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but because I have more of a particular coin, I can sell for smaller moves compared to other ones. And I'm going to finish this off within my most traded coin right now, which is that of Komodo. And Komodo is another one that I own a lot more of. But the only difference compared to this and Litecoin right now is this is actually moving in a better tradable situation where Litecoin isn't even moving that well. And my last play on here was a buy for Komodo, as I bought it at 21.11. Down at this last low area, but it hasn't done much since. So I bought it in here. As far as where my next buy and sell orders happen to be, I got my next sell order in at 23.20, and my next buy order is in at 20.81. Every 1.25%, 1.5%, I will be looking to be making trades. I'll be looking to arbitrage this whenever I can. For what I would do is look at, okay, how's the two, both Bittrex and Binance doing? And when I see 21.76 and 21.78, it's about the same. And unless it moves directly in a decent fashion one way or another, there really isn't any arbitrage available as it is anyway. So therefore, below 2080, you're going to get, if this thing just has big moves, I'm going to get like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buy orders or sell orders that's going to hit at one point. Especially when we take a look at this, say, on a 400-minute time frame, which, by the way, 400 minutes is lower than the length of Game 3 of this year's World Series. And 440 minutes, I think, was yesterday's game. Today's even. But, yeah, when you have these moves like this, like, say here, when you have these rallies, I'm going to get a lot of sell orders hit. Just these little pullbacks like that, that's what I look for. Because if I'm going to be selling at 21.27, There's no way I'm not going to be buying some of it back, or I'm definitely going to be, as I should be saying. No way I'm not going to. Is a better way of putting it when it comes back to, say, the 1900 area. And I'm going to finish this off with red coin because I have been showing my lines on that for where buys and sells happen to occur. And I'm looking to buy next at 44, sell at 58. And within this here, I'm going to go back to Komodo. I forgot one thing I wanted to mention as far as trading, but the low here represents 44, which, I mean, if you pass the eye test, it doesn't touch, but I mean, it did hit it. Only problem was, I don't know if I would have bought it if I didn't remove my orders, as it was at like 47, like a couple days before that. The things were going to expire within a couple days, so I had to remove every single red coin order that I had, because on Bittrex they cancel their orders every 28 days. I find that a very troublesome feature within my strategy, because I can go long periods of time without trades, and on long-term moves I often expect it's going to take many months for some buy orders or sell orders to fill. And that's why I like to keep them in there, and I can on that site. So that's why I'm not too enthusiastic about that rule that they did where they removed orders. And because of such, I barely trade on that site anymore. But yeah, that's how it's going anyway. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And yeah, Komodo, I wanted to tell you about one more thing on how I'm trading it. This is I call this 3-layer trading. Although I never really do call it that, but what it means is I want to profit no Bitcoin whatsoever on the buybacks. So I'm literally trying to buy back like 12, 13, 14% more with every sell order. So whatever it costs me to sell it is what I will buy it for. So for every 10 that I sell, I'm going to be looking to buy back more than 11 back, and just technically accumulate as many of this I can, really hoping for choppy moves before it gets going. And then when it gets to medium points, which would be breaking 50,000, 46, 50,000, and even up to about even below 100, I would call maybe between 50 to 100 the medium point. So that stage there, especially on the lower parts around the 50 to 75, I'm going to be looking to profit both Komodo and Bitcoin. Meaning, if I sell, say, for every 10 that I sell for a 20% move, I'm going to buy back maybe 11 for every 10 on a 20% pullback. Because at that point there, it's getting a little overextended. And then when it gets really big, basically starting to get above 80, 90,000, I only want to profit Bitcoin, meaning if I sell 10, I'm going to buy 10 back and profit the differential in Bitcoin. So if I'm selling, say, 50 at 122, and I'm looking to buy back at 100 flat, then I'm going to buy back exactly what I sell. If I sold 50, I buy back 50 at that stage. Also, when I get to those larger points, I'm going to always try to find additional sales. So I had one additional sell order come in at 22,400, where I sold basically just a little bit more, not much. And I haven't been able to buy it back yet. I could have. But every so often, I'm just going to put extra sell orders in play when I feel the market is overextended, so that I can try to get even more gains. And then when it gets really overextended, and the value of all those extra coins that you're holding, well, that works out very, very well for me, because I'll have more of these coins to me, and I can just make the sale. I'm selling about almost 1% of my stack every order for every move that goes up 1.4, 1.3, 1.5%. So that means that the value of my Komodo after every sale, even though I have less to me, will still go higher, because oh, the market goes up, say 1.5%, and I have 99% of what I had. Then it goes up to another 1.5%, and again I have another 99% of what I had, but the value would still be high, to the point where if this has 4, 5, 6, 7x gains, I'll have a decent value, and I can try to liquid or distribute some extra of these coins. So that's the play with coins like this. XBY, same sort of deal as well. I'm looking for the same sort of moves, where for that, every time it moves up 1% in XBY, and I'm trading every 1% moves basically, I'm trading a half of percent of what I own. So that's the type of basics that I do for position sizing. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.